the world would be a painfully dull place without a touch of mystery, the supernatural, and the unexplained. Our history is littered with relics that simply defy logic, objects rumored to hold mystical powers, eerie origins, or secrets beyond human comprehension. And let's be very real, when something is wrapped in mystery, human curiosity kicks into overdrive. Some will stop at nothing to possess these artifacts, no matter the risk. From cursed treasures to objects that shouldn't even exist. Here are the 15 most mysterious items found from the past. Let's start off with Number 15. The Foundation Stone. If we're talking about ancient sites shrouded in mystery, few are as contested as the Foundation Stone. Sitting at the heart of Temple Mount, this slab of limestone isn't just a rock. It's a focal point of religious history, claimed by 3 major faiths. For Muslims, the Foundation Stone is where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. Some believe it's also the source of all fresh water on earth. Beneath it, a legendary bottomless pit is said to hold souls awaiting judgment. Jewish tradition takes it even further. The stone is believed to be the very point of creation, the place where God formed the universe. It later became the resting place of the Ark of the Covenant, housing the 10 Commandments. Even Jacob's ladder to heaven is linked to this site. For Christians, the Temple Mount remains deeply significant, tied to biblical prophecy and the site of Jesus' teachings. Today, the Foundation Stone is right in the middle of one of the most hotly contested areas of the world, and it is still the most mysterious holy item in the world. Number 14. The Relics of St. John the Baptist. St. John the Baptist is one of the most well-known figures in biblical history, so it's no surprise that his relics are scattered across the world. However, there's one discovery that stands out: a set of bones found on the Bulgarian island of Sveti Ivan. In 2010, archaeologists unearthed a small urn containing pieces of a skull, jaw, arm, and tooth. Next to it, they found a stone box with an inscription marking John's birth date, June 24th. While plenty of churches claim to own a piece of the saint, this relic has something others don't: scientific validation. Oxford University researchers conducted carbon dating tests, revealing that the bones belong to a Middle Eastern male from the 1st century AD, the exact time John was alive. Though it doesn't prove they're his, the timeline fits eerily well. Records suggest these relics have been on the island since the 5th or 6th century, making this one of the most compelling finds linked to the saint. Number 13. The Relics of the True Cross. Much like the relics of St. John the Baptist, pieces of the one true cross have been scattered across the world. Among them, one of the most sacred collections is kept in Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Cross, which claims to house 3 pieces of the cross, 2 thorns from Christ's crown, and one of the original crucifixion nails. The relics were gathered by Saint Helena, the Roman empress credited with bringing Christianity into the empire. But the story of the cross's origins goes much deeper. Some medieval legends claim the wood came from a tree planted by Adam's son, Seth, using seeds from the tree of mercy. After Christ's crucifixion, the cross was allegedly buried to keep it hidden. Then, in 312 AD, Emperor Constantine had a vision of the cross in the sky, leading him to make it his army's symbol. The cross has since been at the center of wars, rediscoveries, and religious intrigue, its fragments continuing to inspire faith and skepticism. Number 12. The Buddha's Tooth. According to legend, when the Buddha was cremated, only one part of him remained: his left canine tooth. This relic has been revered for centuries, not just as a sacred object, but as a symbol of power, with rulers and monks battling over its possession. The most famous of these relics is housed in Sri Lanka's Temple of the Tooth. It was said to have been smuggled there in the hair of a princess in the 4th century AD after multiple kingdoms fought over it. But when the Portuguese took control of Sri Lanka, they claimed to have seized, burned, and scattered its ashes into the ocean. Fortunately, this was a decoy, and the real relic survived. Surprisingly, another supposed Buddha's tooth can be found in California. The Lou Mountain Temple in Rosemead claims to own one that is 2,500 years old and still growing. Some even believe it has healing powers, but its authenticity remains unproven. What do you think about it? Let us know. Number 11. The Stone of Destiny. The Stone of Destiny, aka the Stone of Scone, is no ordinary rock. It's a symbol of power, conquest, and defiance. For centuries, Scottish kings sat upon this ancient slab during their coronation ceremonies, but its origins remain a mystery. Some legends claim it's the very stone Jacob rested his head upon in his biblical dream, while others tie it to the Ark of the Covenant. Originally used in Ireland to crown kings, the stone was brought to Scotland, where it played a key role in unifying the Picts and Scots under one ruler. That is, until 1296, when England's Edward I seized it as war spoils, embedding it into his own coronation throne at Westminster Abbey. A major power move against Scotland. Despite its return in 1996, many believe it's a replica, fueling suspicions that the real stone remains hidden. In 1950, Scottish nationalists even stole it from Westminster, only for rumors to swirl that copies were secretly made before it was returned. Number 10. The Nanteos Cup. A battered wooden drinking vessel might not scream Holy Grail, but to believers, the Nanteos Cup is exactly that. First officially recorded in 1870, this humble relic from the Welsh estate Nanteos House became infamous for its supposed healing powers, so much so that people would drink water from it, believing it could cure ailments. The cup's legend is deeply tied to the monks of Glastonbury Abbey, who, according to tradition, smuggled it out of England during Henry VIII's crackdown on Catholicism. They entrusted it to the Powell family, who became its protectors. Despite scientific tests dating the cup to the medieval era, the legend hasn't faded. Even in modern times, its allure remains strong, so strong that in 2014, it was stolen from the home of a dying woman who had borrowed it for healing. Whether it's truly the Grail of Christ or just a relic of faith, the power of belief surrounding the Nanteos Cup is undeniable. Number 9. Curtana, the Sword of Mercy. Well, royal coronations are full of symbolism, but Curtana, also known as the Sword of Mercy, stands out among the ancient weapons of state. Unlike the other swords carried during the ceremony, Curtana's blade is blunted, a deliberate feature symbolizing mercy over might. Its history is wrapped in myth, but its earliest recorded mention places it in 1199 when King John of England wielded it. Some say its original owner was the legendary knight Tristan, who broke the tip in battle while slaying Morholt. Others claim it belonged to Ogier the Dane, a warrior of Charlemagne's court, who later had it shortened in a symbolic act of peace. Kept at the Tower of London, Curtana has endured through centuries of royal ceremonies. By the reign of Henry VII, two blunt swords existed, both called Curtana, further deepening its mystery. Today, it remains a powerful symbol of justice, its broken blade whispering of battles fought long ago. Number 8. The Lia Fáil. Towering over the hill of Tara, the Lia Fáil, or Stone of Destiny, has watched over the Irish landscape for more than 5,000 years. It wasn't just a ceremonial marker. This stone was said to have supernatural powers, roaring in recognition when the true King of Ireland stood before it. Legends trace its origins back to the Tuatha De Danann, an ancient race of supernatural beings who gifted Ireland 4 sacred treasures: a sword, a spear, a cauldron, and the Lia Fáil itself. These relics became deeply ingrained in Celtic mythology, even inspiring the 4 suits of the tarot deck. But not everyone agrees on where the stone belongs. Some believe it was stolen and taken to Scotland, merging its story with the Stone of Destiny. Others insist that's a myth, and the true stone still stands proudly at Tara. Though silent now, its legacy as a kingmaker remains unshaken. Number 7. The Fairy Flag of Dunvegan. Few artifacts carry as much mystical weight as the Fairy Flag of Dunvegan, a relic passed down through generations of the MacLeod clan. This legendary piece of silk is said to have supernatural powers, capable of protecting warriors and bringing victory in battle. But it can only be used 3 times before its magic fades. One origin story ties the flag to King Harold Hardrada, the feared Viking warrior who fell at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066. Another more enchanting tale speaks of a fairy princess who fell in love with a MacLeod chieftain. When forced to leave, she left their son a magical blanket to comfort him, which later became the fairy flag. The MacLeods have reportedly used it twice, once in a clan battle against the MacDonalds and again during a 16th century war. Some believe its third and final use hasn't happened yet. During World War II, MacLeod soldiers carried photographs of the flag into battle, believing its magic still lived on. Number 6. Derek Mahoney's Glastonbury Cross. One of the most controversial King Arthur relics, the Glastonbury Cross. Legend says monks in 1191 found King Arthur's coffin at Glastonbury Abbey with a lead cross engraved, claiming Arthur was buried in Avalon. Some call it a medieval marketing ploy to boost pilgrimage traffic. Even if it was a hoax, a 12th century forgery is still a historical jackpot. Fast forward to 1981, Derek Mahoney strolls into the British Museum claiming to have found the cross. Museum staff get excited. Mahoney refuses to hand it over. The local council gets involved. A judge throws him in jail for contempt, offering freedom if he reveals its location. Mahoney chooses prison. Even after being forcibly released in 1983, he stays silent. Turns out he had the skills to fake it. Was it real? A fraud? We'll never know because the cross just disappeared. Number 5. The Glozel Tablets. In 1924, French farmer Émile Fradin unearthed an underground chamber filled with human bones, masks, and mysterious tablets engraved with an unknown language. Chaos followed. Experts battled over whether these artifacts predated known alphabets, potentially rewriting history by suggesting Western civilization started in France, not the Middle East. Archaeologists clashed. The Louvre's director accused Fradin of fraud. Fradin sued. Police raided his farm and arrested him, citing freshly carved tablets as proof of deception. His supporters insisted the fakes were planted. A scientific panel called them forgeries, but no one backed down. Modern tests? Mixed results. The bones range from 300 BC to the 1600s. The clay tablets match local soil and are over 2,000 years old, yet no other site like it exists. Was Fradin a fraud, or just a farmer who stumbled upon something nobody could explain? He took the truth to his grave in 2010. Number 4. The Mystery Stone. In 1872, construction workers near New Hampshire's Lake Winnipesaukee dug up a strange black stone egg covered in intricate carvings. 4 inches tall, it features a human face, an ear of corn, a crescent moon, and other symbols that refuse to give up their secrets. Here's the problem. No one recorded exactly where or how deep it was found. The type of rock isn't native to New Hampshire. The drilled holes, too precise for ancient tools, suggest more modern origins. But if it was recently made, who buried it? And why? Theories range from Native American artifacts to 19th century hoaxes, yet no similar object has ever been found. Even with 150 years of study, the mystery stone remains just that, a mystery. Someone at some point carved it for some reason, and today it sits in a museum, leaving everyone with more questions than answers. Number 3. Mayan shark-toothed sun god. In northern Guatemala, archaeologists digging at the Rio Azul Mayan site unearthed a jade mask of Kinich-Ahau, the Mayan sun god. But this version of him had an odd feature: one massive shark tooth. Shark teeth aren't unusual in Mayan sites. Coastal Mayans hunted sharks, crafting their teeth into jewelry, tools, and weapons. But deep inland, these teeth took on a mythical status. Traders likely exaggerated tales of sea monsters, making sharks larger-than-life figures in Mayan spirituality. Megalodon teeth, found at multiple sites, may have fueled these beliefs even further. In Mayan art, sharks are often depicted with one giant tooth, just like the mask. It's unclear whether the mask represents a real warrior's adornment or a purely mythical concept. Either way, it proves one thing: the Mayans saw sharks as more than just ocean dwellers. They were something divine, monstrous, and deeply woven into their world. Number 2. The Grolier Codex. A mysterious book, a shady deal, a flight to nowhere. That's how the Grolier Codex entered history. In 1966, collector Josué Sáenz was told to board a plane, no questions asked. He landed in an unknown location where he was offered a supposed Mayan codex, one of only 4 in existence. Unlike previous forgeries, the Grolier Codex lacks obvious mistakes. The paper dates back to the right period, but that doesn't rule out fraud. Someone could have used ancient blank pages. The edges look too cleanly cut for pre-Columbian tools. And while the codex tracks Venus, it lacks the usual Venus-associated gods or predictive text, leaving scholars skeptical. If real, it's priceless. If fake, it's one of the best forgeries ever. Decades later, experts still argue, but with only 3 confirmed Mayan codices, we may never know for sure. Number 1. James Ossuary. A simple limestone box dating between the 1st century BC and 70 AD became the center of one of archaeology's biggest scandals. The inscription: James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus. If authentic, it's the earliest physical reference to Jesus Christ. At first, scholars confirmed its legitimacy. Then the Israel Antiquities Authority called it a fake. Its owner, Oded Golan, was arrested and accused of running a massive forgery ring. The trial lasted 7 years. Golan was acquitted, but the ossuary remained controversial. In 2015, geologist Aryeh Shimron suggested the ossuary's chemical signature matched the Talpiot tomb, an excavation site in Jerusalem where names like Jesus, son of Joseph, and Mary were found. This raised the question: was the ossuary the missing 10th box from that tomb? Even if it is, does it really refer to Jesus? Scholars doubt it. Jesus was a common name. This relic may never get a final verdict. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.